Now this one is focused on our hips, and we're going to start lying down. So I want you to lie with the back of your head on the mat. Bring your ankles and feet and knees together and your arms by your side, palms down. I want you to feel the back of the hips lovely and melting into the mat, back of the rib cage, shoulders, as well as the head. Nose pointing to the ceiling. I want you to open your feet out at the front so your feet are in a soft V, and bring your heels around so your feet are now parallel. Draw all your toes up to the ceiling. Draw them up and then lower them down so you can feel every single toe on the mat. So with your knees and your feet hip width apart, I want you to take your mind-body connection now to your hips. I want you to imagine that you have a marble halfway between your navel and the top of your pelvic bone. So we're sitting smack bang in the middle of your lower abdominals. And I want you to try and make sure that that marble is dead center and couldn't roll anywhere at all. And when you do this, you should correct yourself to be lovely and even on your back hip bones. And you're in a neutral pelvis position. I want you to draw your breath in through the nose and in towards that imaginary marble, using all those abs drawing in. And on the out breath, I want you to roll that marble down towards your sternum, just below your rib cage there, so your back imprints on the mat. When your back is imprinted on the mat, once again, draw that lovely breath in to prepare. Engage your abdominals once again, and roll the marble this time down towards the top of your pelvic bone. This time you should feel your pelvis going into a forward tilt. Some of you may be able to pop your hand underneath your back and your mat. And we go again. Now just make sure when you're doing this that you're really using your abdominals and that your feet remain lovely and light on the mat. And each time you arch forward and each time you roll the marble down and imprint your back onto the mat, you feel you can just go a little bit more, each time getting a little bit more stability, mobility through your hips. And we go a couple more times in your own time. Again, careful that those feet don't press into the floor. And then roll the marble back to the middle of the lower abdominals one more time, halfway between your navel and the pelvic bone. This time, breathe in, draw those abdominals in towards that marble. And we're going to roll the marble over to the right hip and then over to the left. And work with each breath, keep going from side to side, noting how you may feel different on one side than the other. Now, this is a really small move. So if your knees are flaring about side by side, ask yourself, are you really working just really small into your hips? You should feel when you roll over onto that right side, you should just feel the underside of the left hip slightly lift or become lighter on the mat, and vice versa. Couple more times as we start easing out in both the lower back and in our hips there. I want you to bring that marble almost back to the middle of your abdominals and your hip bones lovely and level. Now in this neutral pelvis position, breathe in once more, draw those abdominals in towards your imaginary marble and lift your right leg up into a 90-degree angle or tabletop position where the knee is directly above your hip and your shin is parallel to your floor or the ground. I want you to feel that upper part of your leg lovely and heavy in the hips. I want you to imagine there's a pencil on the end of your knee. And I want you to start drawing a small circle on the ceiling with that imaginary pencil. Now we make it small to start so we can make sure that the hips are not moving, those abdominals lovely and engaged, keeping those hips lovely and still. And that circle is lovely and even. You can close your eyes And imagine that circle lovely and even. And I want you to imagine that leg, the top of the thigh bone, the femur, heavy in your hip. And we're stirring the femur in the hip, just like a nice wooden honey stirrer in a honey pot. Let's go back around in the other direction, making sure that your leg is lovely and heavy in the hips and you're circling through into the hips. Another 2 more times. Really nice. And we take that leg to the floor. You want to check you're still in neutral spine. Breathe in, engage your abs on the out breath. Lift the other leg up to 90 degrees. Once again, imagining that pencil coming off the end of your knee. And once again, drawing circles on your ceiling. Keeping those circles lovely and even as your femur, the top of your thigh bone on this other leg, is rotating and stirring in your hip. And back around in the other direction. Don't forget to keep those abs lovely and engaged so your hips keep you lovely and still. So the only movement becomes that leg in the hip. Another 2 more times. Another 1. And lower that leg. Lovely. Now bring that right knee in towards you. Take hold of the front of the knee with both hands and send the left leg away and draw that knee closer in towards you. You can have a little circle out in the ankles here as well, making sure that big toe is drawing big circles in one direction and then the other, and lower down. Bring up the left knee towards your chest. Draw that knee in as you send the right leg away. And you can get a nice little bit of mobility in your ankle joint, circling in both directions there if you wish. Really nice. Take that leg down and bring the other leg up. Take the arms out to the side. Bring your knees and ankles together. Drop your knees down over to the right and turn your head to look at your left hand. Now, like anything in Pilates, we want to work into the hips, of course, but we want to really make sure we've got abdominal control and also really making sure we're mobilizing through the back at the same time. Breathe in, draw the abs in, bring the knees up through the middle and over to the other side, and turn your head over the other side to look at the opposite hand. And again, as long as your shoulders and upper arms stay on the mat, don't worry about how far your knees can come over. With each breath and with gravity and with practice, you will bring those knees down further over time. Now I'm going to bring my right arm over and come over onto my one side. Now you can use a block or you can just lie on your hand there. We're just going to stay here for a while to just work on this one side. So I want you now to make sure your knees are out at 90 degrees and your hips, knees and ankles are stacked evenly. And you lift that top leg up. Bring the knee towards your chest. Send that leg out long and then bring it around into a sideline bicycle. So again, really getting back into this hip, really working to mobilize directly into the hip joint. Nice big circles, knee up to the chest, leg out long, take it down, keep those abs engaged once more. So when the leg comes behind so far, your abs then stop it from taking your hips out of alignment. Let's go back around the other way. So nice big circles. Now for this session, we're doing 3 each side. But if you're feeling clunky or a bit achy and it feels good, then do a few more. As long as you try and balance up on each side. Nice big circle. and restack. Take hold of your ankle first, then lower the knee, and then draw the knee behind you. We're going to just go into a little stretch here on the front of our leg. Press the hips out as you get that lovely stretch down the front of your thigh. Couple more breaths in there. And come back and lower. We're going to press up into sitting. Keep the legs to the right side. Reach the left arm up, and we're going to come over those feet. And we're going to swap sides over the other side. So we've done a little bit of rotation in the spine. Now some side bends. So along the way, in looking after our hips, we're making sure we're also getting a little bit of mobility through the rest of our spine, through the whole of our spine. Really nice. As you come up, bring the feet over the other side and come back onto your side. Again, lie on a block or your hand. Pop the other hand in front for balance. Bring that top knee up. Then slowly with the breath, bring the knee up to the chest. Send that leg out long. As you do big circles, as we do sideline bicycles on this side. Really nice. Make sure you're making, again, focus on the femur in the hip joint, the top of your leg, and make sure you're giving it as much mobility as you can. Round in one way, and we go back the other direction. And one more. Nice big circles all the way around. And just like on the other side, we're going to bring that leg back, but take hold of the ankle first. Now, we're not pulling the ankle back. We're just holding the leg there with that hand, but we're pulling back with the knee until we feel a stretch down the front of that top leg. And if you can't feel it, press those hips out as you draw the knee back and feel a lovely deep stretch there down the front of your upper thigh. Couple more breaths there. Another 3, 2 more seconds, and 1, and lower. And we press up to sitting this time with our feet the other side and come back over another time for some stretches. Reach the arm up first, come up out of that hip and the waist, and then reach over. So you're feeling that stretch coming up out once again, out of the hips as you reach up. And lovely. We're going to bring the legs in front now, and we're going to take the knees slightly wider than our hips, feet out front. Bring your hands each side, draw the shoulder blades together. We're just going to lower the knees over to one side and up. Again, mobilizing into those hips, into an internal rotation on the one hip and external on the other. And let's do 2 more times. As we reach over, keeping your bottoms on the mat and really getting the mobilization in the hips. Really nice. We're now going to come up onto all fours. So if anyone has any problem with the knees, just roll your mat a little bit so you get extra cushion in. We want our hands directly underneath our shoulders and our knees, underneath our hips. Crown of the head reaching away and shoulders down our back. We're going to go into a cat-cow here first. So I want you to draw your belly button to the spine and tuck the tailbone under. Start arching the spine to the ceiling, bit by bit, starting from the top. As you come up towards the rib cage, press the hands into the mat. Feel your shoulder blades expand. Get long in the neck as your head comes down to look at your thighs. Keep those abs drawn in so you really achieve a lovely angry cat position there. Stay in there, start sending your tailbone up to the ceiling. Now your abdominals will come down towards the mat. Shoulder blades glide down your back as you look to the front. And come back to the midway point. While we're here, we're going to come into some little hip hitches. So I want you to start drawing on this right side, your right hip to the lowest rib. As you draw the hip and rib to one side together on one side, you feel the other side expand. The head will come around that right arm, and you may even be able to see your lower half of your body. Come back to the front, lovely and slowly, and with the breath. And we go again on the other side. You draw the left hip to the lowest rib, draw them together and together a bit more. Feel an expansion on the other side as your head comes around that left arm. And then come back to the front. We're going to walk our hands now into our knees, draw the belly button to the spine, roll up to kneeling. When we're on our knees here, come over to one side of your mat and take the other leg out to the side. And we're going to come down on all fours this time in this position. And I want you to draw the tailbone behind you. Feel that stretch into the inner thigh and into the hip. Come back to the same level. And again, take that tailbone behind you as far as is comfortable or your balance will allow. And come back up to your starting position. And one more time, bring that tailbone back and back up. Now I want you to point that toe out to the side. Now I want you to send that leg away from you until you feel a lovely stretch on the inner thigh and back. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Send that leg out to the side and back. And one more time. Send the leg out to the side, making sure you've got lovely control with your hands, and bring that leg back. Now keeping that leg out there, keeping the toe pointed. Stay strong and firm and stable on your 2 hands and the other knee. Breathe in, draw the abs in. We're going to lift that leg up and we're going to do little semicircles, tapping down until that back leg comes over the other leg. And then we come round the other way. Just little semicircles and come over in front of your hip. And one more time, round and back round on the other side and back to the starting position with the big toe facing forward. Walk the hands back in, come up to your kneeling position. Now imagine you're facing a 12 o'clock on a clock face. Bring that front leg to a 1 o'clock position. And we're going to reach forward and back, really stretching into the inner thigh and back. Now, if that's uncomfortable, you may just want to reach forward and hold that stretch there. Do what works for you. Few more breaths and up. Now we're going to bring that leg out to the front. Make sure that your feet are hip width apart so you maintain your balance. Both knees at 90 degrees. I'll go sideways on so you can see. Draw the abs in, beautiful posture in the upper body. Press those hips forward. We went into the front of this flexor, these flexors a little earlier on our side. And so if you're still feeling a little stretch there, press those hips, hold it there, or you can pop your hands each side behind you. Draw the shoulder blades together for a lovely stretch across the front of your chest. And bend that front knee forward and back, and 2, and back, and 1. Back up, heel toe that leg out a little bit further. Arms out to the side and come down and up. As you come to the top, rotate to the side and over the other side and come down. Use your abdominals for balance. Over to one side and then the other. And we come down and hold it. Bend the opposite elbow, rotate to that front leg. If you can, take the elbow to the leg or to the other side. Hold it there. Lovely deep rotation. Breathe into that stretch 3, 2, 1, back and up. Now we're going to go into the back of the upper thighs while we're here. So send that front leg long and flex or point to the ceiling, the toes on that foot. Keep your chest proud, draw your shoulder blades together and come down over that front leg. If you can and it's comfortable, you can bring your hands each side of that leg for balance. Keep drawing the chest to the top of your front leg for a stretch up the back of the hamstrings. And take a few breaths there. We want to stay here for a little bit longer. If you're not quite feeling it, you can take that front leg out a little bit longer. But keep it straight and draw down, but never force anything. You work with the breath until the muscles relax. As we do a few more breaths here, another one breath, and walk the hands back up and bring the knee down. And we're going to come over onto the other side. So take that leg long and come down on all fours. We're going to take the tailbone behind us to start and back up to the starting position. Tailbone comes behind and up. One more time. Bring that tailbone behind and back up to the starting position. Make sure your weight is even through both hands and the knee. Point that toe on that lengthened leg out. Start reaching that leg out behind and bring it back in. Reach that leg out to the side. Watch your balance. Make sure you got lovely control through both arms and the bent leg. And one more time. Reach out to the side and back up. When you're back in this starting position, lovely and strong through your arms. Breathe in, draw the abs in to prepare. And on the out breath, we lift that leg and we do little semicircles as we did the other side. Bringing that leg round the back and back round. And when we come to our starting position, see if we can do one more loop in front and go again. Around and out to the side, and we'll do one more. Out to the side and back. Walk the hands in, draw the abs in to come up. Bend our knee. Again, it comes out at more of a 10 o'clock position now as we bend into that leg and up. And out to the side and up. And one more time, reach over. You can hold that move there for a few breaths if it's comfortable. And up. And then take our leg out to the front at 90 degrees. Hands behind your back, palms pressing in. Tuck your tailbone under and press out. Feeling now down the front of our flexors. If you can't feel anything and you've beautifully stretched already from our side lying, you can bend that front knee a little bit more. Draw the shoulder blades and elbows behind you for a stretch across the front of your chest. And a couple of breaths in there. And up. Then you can walk heel toe that leg out a little bit further. Take the arms out, shoulders away from your ears. Bend down. Come up. Rotate to the side. And again, come down. Really deepen that stretch with the breath. Come back up. Breathe in, up out of the waist. Rotate and rotate. One more time, you come down. Come up and rotate and rotate. This time we come down and we hold it. Bend the opposite arm and rotate in the waist. If you can, bring that elbow to on or the other side of your bent leg and rotate in the waist a little bit more, holding that stretch forward as well as the rotation. And back up. Once you're up, straighten that front leg, flex the foot. Draw the abs in, draw the shoulders together, start coming down over that front thigh. Hand each side of that straightened leg. See if you can keep bending down a little bit further, breathing in to that stretch. Feeling that stretch up the back of our legs. Sometimes our hip problems can be caused by tight hamstrings. So really making sure we're working and stretching out into our front of our thighs and the back is a really nice way of helping out our hips. Couple more breaths in there. Another one. Bend our leg and bring it in. We're going to come back down and finish here. Come lie on your backs, arms out to the side. Bring your feet and knees together. Cross the left leg over your right. Drop the knees over to the left and turn your head, if it's comfortable, to the right. That top knee drawing slowly and gently with each breath on top of the underside knee. Few more breaths and back up to the top and cross. And we go one more time over the other side. Drawing that knee down, breathing in to that stretch. Couple more breaths in there. And up to the top. Now you can come onto your side and push up, or take hold of the inside of your knees and rock up to sitting. Bring the soles of your feet together. Allow those knees to externally rotate out. Bring your head to your feet, shins to your forearms to your shins, and take a few breaths there. And drawing the belly button to your spine, roll up to sitting, and you're done. Hope you enjoyed that little work into your hips.